Bonnie Evans has lived in the Atlanta area for 44 years. A few years ago, she downsized and moved in Ponte Verde, Florida, to be close to her family. In 2009, she joined Friendship Force International and she became an integral part of the team. Over the ensuing years, she held several positions in the organization. She managed the organization's website and social media. She was club's treasurer for 4 years, followed by 2 years as vice president. How did you get involved in Friendship Force and what was your role?
I first became aware of the Friendship Force when I first moved to Georgia, because I saw a write-up in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution where Jimmy Carter and Wayne Smith was heading a delegation to go to Moscow. And they had this whole airplane full of people who wanted to bridge the gap between our countries. I used to go to a little coffee shop every day when I was working, every day. And usually the same people are there. And this Dr. Neil Nicholson used to sit across from me, and we would talk about things. And he knew I liked to travel. And he said, you know, he started bragging about the Friendship Force, about how they hosted people in their homes, and how he went over to Japan and was hosted by a Japanese man, and they were treated like royalty, and they tried so many different foods and went into the temples, roamed the streets, and went into places they would never have known before because of that one-on-one relationship. That intrigued me because I did love to travel, but the idea of people meeting one-on-one in their home.
It's kind of a getting know the country in roots.
It's very personal.
Yeah.
When you sit around a table with the whole family,
True.
and you're trying to, sometimes you don't know what you're eating, but you have an open mind that you're willing to try anything because you know they're not going to poison you. I'm sorry. But it just really creates a fantastic relationship. And not only that, they get to know what you like, and they'll tell you what they're going to see. They're very much interested in showing you their culture, and you want to learn about it. So it's it's a wonderful, wonderful relationship that lasts over your lifetime.
The Friendship Force International was founded in 1977 by a Presbyterian minister named Wayne Smith and then Governor of Georgia, Jimmy Carter. It is based in Lawrenceville, Georgia, and maintains clubs in more than 45 countries on 6 continents. The club's programs bring diverse people together into each other's homes to share one-of-a-kind experiences not available to regular tourists. The idea itself, what Friendship Force carries, to me it sounds like biblical. Founder Wayne Smith was a missionary.
He's a Presbyterian minister. That's correct. But he was, he had this vision. Of course, Jimmy Carter, he was governor at the time.
Also, Jimmy Carter is very religious man.
Well, he was governor at the time, and he was able to generate this interest, and there was huge interest in this. And the idea of exploring a culture that we were, had a Cold War with, and to try to break that barrier was significant.
And that was just what it needed that time.
Yes.
To warm up.
Yes. There was a Cold War going on, and this was a gesture to make things better. And Jimmy wasn't even running for president back then. He was just a governor, and he was. This was part of his. He was a very. Jimmy is a devout Baptist. And here is a Presbyterian minister, and they get together and help form this amazing organization called Friendship Force International.
Bonnie hosted 3 different groups of people from Georgia through the Friendship Force. In June of 2015, there was a month-long outbound journey through Georgia and Azerbaijan coordinated by the Dallas office. It was on this journey that Bonnie met a Georgian woman named Kate, who has since become a close and dear friend. In the Republic of Georgia, Friendship Force was introduced when Soviet countries were closed to the rest of the world. The Iron Curtain was opened through the efforts of Gela Charkriani. He had the greatest merit in founding this organization in Georgia. Our headquarters office is in Atlanta, Georgia, in the US. In that time, the president of the Friendship Force was George Brown. He was a key person who played a big role in establishing this organization in Georgia. I invited Mr. Brown to Georgia. I gathered the families who wanted to be hosts, and we established our relationships with the main office. Every year we have at least 2-3 exchange guests. Kate and her son Buka invited us to their home. They prepared for us a delicious Georgian dish called chakapuli, which is braised veal with tarragon and sour plums. The flavors were truly outstanding. Out of respect of our guests, we are cooking chakapuli. This is traditional Georgian dish and it is prepared in the following way. It needs meat, preferably lamb, but veal can be used as well. It needs to be cut into chunks. We use a variety of herbs, tarragon, cilantro, and parsley, but the primarily herb is a tarragon. We also include garlic, scallions, sour plums, and dry white wine. Buka is my son, and he is a member of the Friendship Force. We place everything into the pot as lays, adding sour plums, herbs, and wine. Place the pot on heat and cook it for about an hour. Before serving, we season it with salt and pepper to taste. Cuisine is an integral part of the travel. When you travel around the world, is a food special tool which connects people, do you think?
Oh, yes, it does. Okay, of course we have to eat. We're hungry.
Right.
It's very important for us as Friendship Force to try the local cuisine. Very, very important because to us, that is tradition. That's their traditional meals, tradition with the family for celebration, for birthday. Their meals, your meals is the center of conversation. And the exchange of ideas and openness and friendliness and laughter. And the food just brings you together. And when we have
breaking bread together, it's
breaking bread,
right?
Breaking bread together, always breaking bread together. And one of the nice things is that when you are being hosted, or you're the guests, or vice versa, is that we have gatherings of the whole club, and everybody brings a dish and a food that they do good, and we all share together, even though they may not have a person in their house, but they get to share the experience. We've had some incredible experiences with people from Latin America, from Costa Rica to Lima, but to Peru, the Colombian. They're also amazing people too. They're very dear to my heart too. Right. It's just an amazing experience when you sit down and you drink and you eat and you break bread.
That's wonderful.
You create
And,
something that's
Friendship
everlasting.
Force is a brilliant idea
It
to
is.
connect with people and make a public diplomacy.
Yes.
Number one.
It's a wonderful.
So today, that's what makes a peace in a world. That friendship, we definitely need
Yeah.
between families.
Everybody has a skill.
Right.
You don't have to be the great cook. There's somebody else who's the great cook. You don't have to be the great entertainer. You could be good. Everybody's good at something. So bring your God-given talents and use them the way you can help other people.
Good friendships are worth more than gold and can help us to endure with faith through difficult trials. Making friends worldwide can serve as a powerful tool for conflict resolution and plant seeds of peace in the world. Well, you've been in this in this organization many years, and you had different positions
Oh,
there.
yes.
And how it feels to be part of something big, like the Friendship Forces.
Well, it's the old saying: the more you put into it, the more you get out of it. Okay, and I became so engrossed into my experiences. They saw what skills I had in the internet and Facebook and things like that. I also was in the financial field, so I was handling their Facebook site and the internet. Nobody else would touch it because they were afraid. But I had the ability to learn it, and so I did that for a while. And then I was treasurer, handling money because I worked for Bank of America, and they figured I knew money. And I was a treasurer for about 4 years.
Well, I'm sure you were brilliant on your job because you deserve that medal, Wayne Smith Medal, honorary medal.
And then eventually I became a vice president. That was my last position, was vice president. My dear friend, Robin Scott, was the president. We were very close friends. We traveled on many trips together, so we made a good team together. So by becoming involved at that level, you're making decisions, you're planning trips, a journey, you're approving hosts coming in. So you're very, very much involved. And just like I said, the more you're involved, the more you're going to get out of something, no matter what you do.
Bunny was a journey leader where she planned entire journeys. One of them was to Tanzania, which was an epic journey. The group traveled over 2,200 miles in Tanzania, visited 7 national parks where they saw all 5 animals of the Big Five through numerous safaris. They even stayed 5 nights with a family in the town of Iringa. This organization did many things to other countries, other cultures. Mm-hmm. So how it benefited the other cultures and Americans as well?
Well, I can go from my own personal experience, okay?
Sure.
I headed my first journey. I always said I would never be a journey director because it's a lot of responsibility. It's all volunteer work. Mm-hmm. So you do it on your own. I planned a journey. I called it the Epic Journey to Tanzania. And we would have a homestay, which is the cultural most important part of our organization, is a homestay with an African family. So that was the center of why we were going to Tanzania. But then I built up a whole program that not just involved this one part of the country, which was on the other end of the country, because we arrived at the Kilimanjaro airport, and I had worked with a safari director. He was relatively new. I knew he was well educated. I had investigated the company. There's no public transportation in Tanzania. There's no train. There's no public buses. There's no taxis. So you have to figure out how you're going to get from point A to point B and back to point A again, because it's like 2,200 miles that we covered. And there was 27 people that I took with me.
And there is no bus was serving you or something?
I hired the tour company. I hired. It started with we were just going to do just as one of their safaris, photo safari, up in up in Serengeti. There was like 5 national parks, Ngorongoro. Trying to think of all the, but there's big 5 big huge parks up there where the animals are. I didn't know when I went to Africa or Tanzania. I thought there were animals everywhere. You know, I thought they were just, but it's not like that at all.
You are a very brave woman.
No, I thought they were in the national parks, okay? That's where I thought they were. So I didn't know that in Africa, if you just drive down the road, you're not going to run into an elephant. They're going to be in the national parks, and they're preserved. Their parks are the idea of conservation and preservation of the animal life, and what a wonderful thing to do, and they're very protective of the animals.
Yeah.
But I hired this company for that. And I kept working with him, and I told him really what I wanted to do. And he come up with a plan, and we worked together some more, and the plan got bigger and bigger and bigger until we had a whole 3 weeks plan. And he provided 2 travel buses. I don't want to say buses. They held like 30 people each. And the reason I had 2 travel buses because I learned from my research that the roads are quite bad. The roads are quite bad in Tanzania, and that the buses, you know, it's rough. You got to be really strong to do this. That you better have another bus for your luggage, because or else you'll be sitting on top of your luggage. I had 27 people. The bus seats 30, but there was no luggage thing. Right. So I knew we had to have 2 buses. But he worked with me very, very closely, and we're still friends to this day. And always will be. But he also helped me. I told him that if we were going to go to Tanzania, that we wanted to do some good there, okay? And I wanted him to come up with some ideas of things that we could do that would make a difference, okay? So when I organized the monetary part of the trip, I included, because I had 27 people, right? I included in the whole trip expense of $100 used for charitable purposes.
Another journey was to the Galapagos Islands and Ecuador. In Ecuador, 17 of the group members visited the Amazon rainforest, where they had a remarkable full-day encounter with an isolated indigenous group called the Huaroni, who were not even discovered until the late 1950s.
But I took a group to Colombia, and we also, I think I wrote this in my thing, and we took a group, and some of us went on to the Amazon jungle. And the person that I hired could speak the language of this indigenous tribe. They were only discovered in the late 1950s, and the first people that visited them.
Oh, God. The tribe, which only allows 2 groups of visitors per year, had prepared for their visit by constructing a wooden bridge over a river and creating a huge meeting house.
So 6 months ahead of time, they are building a big meeting house of straw, like you see the big meeting house with the open sides, never closed, open sides, open, everything's open, big meeting room, not room, but house. And they also built a bridge. I have a picture of that bridge. You would like that. They built that bridge for us to come across the river.
What kind of bridge was it? Steady or not steady?
You have to see the bridge.
Oh, God.
But at least it was a river. At least it was water underneath you. But
water full with rocks, probably.
I don't know if there was much rock, because the kids were swimming in the pool. They didn't wear, the children didn't wear any clothes. The women wore some attire, but very limited. And the men just wore string around them. So it's a little more, I don't want to go into detail. Of all of us, with a picture of the group, with the tribe of this naked people, but just, we didn't, you don't think like that. It's just how we end up being able to bond with these people. They didn't speak, they were Stone Age, primitive, and here we are modern man, and we're able to connect with the children. That was, you're talking about bridging cultural gaps? That was extreme.
თქვენ ვერ დამისახელებთ მე ვერც ერთ სხვა ორგანიზაციას ისეც.
It is hard to remember any organization that opens its doors as widely for guests as does Friendship Force. For Georgians, per traditions, a guest is a very important, but for Friendship Force organization, a guest is a very special being. Our organization gives opportunities to everybody to get to know the culture and traditions from inside, live those traditions with the host family, and understand the country better. The selection of host families is not based on whether a family is financially well secured, but of course the family must follow some basic requirements. Georgians are widely welcoming of Friendship Force organization members.
Bonnie, this is for you, honey.
I can eat all that.
And this is for our guests.
Wow. What is this?
Do you remember?
Lamb?
Lamb. Chakapuli. Chakapuli.
Chapapoli.
Yeah.
Close.
This Georgian main dish.
Oh, is this really?
Yes, ma'am.
Ah, didn't know that.
Along with the rest of the world, the COVID-19 pandemic interfered with Friendship Force missions with many travel delays, but in spite of this, its members still found ways to get connected.
During COVID, it was very challenging. You had asked me a question about how they're going to keep friendship going. Because when the COVID, the income stopped because there were no more exchanges.
Yeah.
And the members, I forgot how many members we have, 5,000 I forgot how many members we have across the world. They ran a campaign, a capital campaign, to be able to try to keep it running during these bad times. And the members believed in Friendship Force so much that they raised, I don't remember, it was a lot of money that would be able to keep them enforced until fall of next year. So that's how committed the people are to keeping the Friendship Force alive. Right. Now what they'll do virtual journeys where a person will take them around their city in their virtual journeys. Mm-hmm. They'll do teaching languages right now through FaceTime,
through the online
through Zoom and things like that. Mm-hmm. Which is another interesting. I am working with a lady in Azerbaijan who teaches English to other people. Mm-hmm. And she has me twice a month do an English conversation via Zoom with her students to help them ask me questions and I ask them questions to get them conversational. It's been very interesting.
ახლა დავამატებდი კიდევ იმას, რომ ეს ორგანიზაცია იმით არის საინტერესო, რომ წევრები არიან სხვადასხვა პროფესიის ადამიანები.
This organization is also very interesting by the diversity of its members from different professions. There are architects, judges, and managers of large companies. Mostly of them are retired, but they lead very active lifestyles. Their experiences and knowledge help countries like Georgia and its youth to be open-minded and to see things from different points of view. And what do you advise young people who would like to participate?
That is something that's very important to us right now. Mm-hmm. We are working very hard at trying to get more youth and younger people into the organization because or else it will die if it doesn't. So what you have to do, we have to create programs that the youth are interested. You got to listen to the youth and what they want and what they expect out of it. I know that French Force has created some scholarships that will have the people from poor countries, students, high school students, who may want to travel but don't have the economical means. But their group is traveling like to the United States. They may sponsor two school children to be able to do that. It's a start. So hopefully they'll bring it back to their friend and create a youthful friendship force. And of course, I think another way to bring in youth is that the grandma and grandpa have lots of grandchildren, and you want to expose them to travel. And we should have grandparents and their grandparents and their grandchildren, or even the parents and their children go on trips that are feasible for them, and get them involved. Because as soon as they see how much fun it is and how much joy to get out of it, and that they're making friends from another country, there's nothing compared to it.
Right.
So.
And you become more educated, you become much better citizen, and you make a difference.
It breaks the barriers.
It does. More than once, Friendship Force proved the sustainability of their mission, which has resulted in many marriages and lifelong relationships between friends. Probably many people met each other and got married through Friendship Force, right?
Oh, I'm sure of that. I am sure of that, but I haven't met anybody.
That's real sustainability. But
yes, you know what? It's funny you said that, because one of my friends, she worked at the Friendship Force headquarters, and she went down to Colombia and met Pacho, I think I may pronounce it, her husband, and they fell in love because of the Friendship Force. And now they live in Atlanta, and they're still involved with the Friendship Force. Yeah. So that was definitely Friendship Force. They fell in love from American to Colombia.
Several years ago, Bunny was awarded the prestigious Wayne Smith Medal, a special award best owed by Friendship Force International's Board of Directors. The medal was created to recognize those who have shown exceptional leadership in advancing Friendship Force mission in their communities. This award is a tribute to the memory of founder Wayne Smith, whose boundless energy, optimism, and untiring commitment to the cause of world friendships made this organization a global force for public diplomacy and great relationships. Finally, we should always remember God's message to us from John chapter 15, verse 12. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you.